Hare Krishna, everyone. So, thank you for joining us today to cover Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, Chapter 10, the Deliverance of the Yamala arjuna trees. I hope everyone is doing well and taking this opportunity, which is a blessing in disguise, and going inward instead of outward. We know that we are in a social distancing situation, and we are all homebound. And in this case, we need to find activities that can help us stay sane, stay healthy, and still stay emotionally stable. And so, such times of when we are bewildered, we don't know what's the real cause, we take shelter of the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So thanks for joining in, and I'm very grateful for you coming in and discussing Lord Krishna's pastime together in the association of devotees. And please feel free to ask any question that you may have, so that we can, on this particular topic, we can discuss those questions and relish the sweet pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha वीरभद्रा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
श्रवतां स्वकथा कृष्णा
श्रवतां स कथा कृष्ण
पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनः
पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनम्
हृदयन्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि
हृदयन्तस्तु भद्राणि
विधुनोति सुहसताम्
विधुनोति सहस्रताम्
नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवते उत्तम श्लोके
भगवतेरुत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
So today we will be covering Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, chapter 10, the deliverance of the Yamala arjuna trees. In the previous class, we covered Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, chapter 9. Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, chapter 10, verse 1. Shri Rajo Vacha
श्रीराजोवाच
Katyatam Bhagavannetat
कथयतां भगवन्नेतत्
Tayoho Shapasya Karanam
तयो शापस्य कारणम्
Yattad Vigarhitam Karma
यत्तत् विगर्हितं कर्म
Yena va devashistamaha.
येन वा देवर्षेस्तमः।
Shri Raja Uvacha.
श्रीराजोवाच
The king further inquired,
The king further inquired,
Katyatam,
Katyatam,
please describe
please describe
Bhagavan,
Bhagwan,
O supremely powerful one,
O supremely powerful one,
Etat,
Etat,
this,
this,
Tayoho,
Tayo,
of both of them,
of both of them,
Shapasya,
Shapasya,
of cursing,
of cursing,
Karanam,
Karanam,
the cause,
the cause,
Yat,
Yat,
which,
which,
Tat,
Tat,
that,
that,
Vigarhitam,
Vigarhitam,
abominable,
abominable,
Karma,
Karma,
act, Yena,
Yen
by which,
by which,
Va,
Va,
either,
either,
Devasheh Tamaha.
Devarshetama.
The great sage Narad became so angry.
The great sage Narad became so angry.
Translation by His Divine Grace S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. King Parikshit inquired from Shukdev Goswami, O great and powerful saint, what was the cause of Nalkuberas and Manigrivas having been cursed by Narad Muni? What did they do that was so abominable that even Narad, the great sage, became angry at them? Kindly describe this to me. There is no purpose, so we'll cover next few verses. Shukdev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, because the two sons of Kuber had been elevated to the association of Lord Shiva, of which they were very much proud, they were allowed to wander in a garden attached to Kailash hill on the bank of the Mandakini river. Taking advantage of this, they used to drink a kind of liquor called Varuni. Accompanied by women singing after them, they would wander in that garden of flowers, their eyes always rolling in intoxication. Purport. This verse mentions some of the material advantages afforded to persons associated with or devoted to Lord Shiva. Apart from Lord Shiva, if one is a devotee of any other demigod, one receives some material advantage. Foolish people therefore become devotees of demigods. This has been pointed out and criticized by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, verse 7.20. Kameshtaster hita jnana prapadyante anya devataha. Those who are not devotees of Krishna have a taste for women, wine, and so forth. And therefore, they have been described as hrit jnana, bereft of sense. The Krishna consciousness movement can very easily point out such foolish persons, for they have been indicated in Bhagavad Gita 7.15, where Lord Krishna says, Namam dushkritino muraha prapadyante naradhama maya pratyajnana asuram bhavam ashritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge has been stolen by illusion, and who partake of the theistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Anyone who is not a devotee of Krishna and does not surrender to Krishna must be considered Naradhama, the lowest of men, and Dushkriti, one who always commits sinful activities. Thus, there is no difficulty in finding out who is a third class or fourth class man, for one's position can be understood simply by this crucial test. Is he or is he not a devotee of Krishna? Why are the devotees of the demigods greater in number than the Vaishnavas? The answer is given herein. Vaishnavas are not interested in such fourth class pleasures as wine and women, nor does Krishna allow them such facilities. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatadham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So here, in this particular chapter, there are many important lessons, and it's revealed from the very purport that we just covered. So previously we have covered in chapter 8, Mrit Bhakshan Leela, Lord Krishna eating dirt, or mud sometimes referred to. And then we also covered in the last chapter as how Mother Yashoda, binds Lord Krishna. And there are a lot of conflicting concepts being covered. When somebody considers the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are bewildered. And even Queen Kunti, she says that, she does not understand how Lord Krishna is running away in fear from this gopi. And she is referring to Mother Yashoda, Yashoda Mai. That he is running away from Yashoda Mai in fear, while the fear personified is afraid of Lord Krishna. So, here we have many lessons, very wonderful lessons. And some of the interesting questions we got afterwards were with respect to Lord Krishna in some of the conflicts. Like, people sometimes wonder, why would Lord Krishna do this, right? And then sometimes, when not properly in knowledge, they even question and they even try to suggest that what Lord Krishna should do. So this is, an outrageous attitude. So Srila Prabhupada, when they saw that, sometimes people have this tendency to tell what God should do. People have the tendency to say what government should do, even though government does not listen at times and continues to go on its path. Similarly, some people also have the tendency of telling what God should do. and why God is doing something that is going on. So there is always a lesson in all that is happening around us. The very nature of the material world is dukhalayam ashashvatam. It is a place of misery, and it is ashashvatam. It is temporary in nature. Yet at the same time, devotees, we always take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and we look for the welfare of the world and of all the other devotees, and we associate with them. So currently, devotees are associating on Zoom sessions, they are associating on Facebook, they are associating on WhatsApp. There is a lot of social communication going on in the midst of social distancing. So this time, when we look at it, that the devotees are praying more, we are associating more, we are truly concerned about each other's welfare, we are making sure that this association stays strong. And with that thought, once again, sometimes we are challenged like how people are saying what Lord Krishna should be doing. And Srila Prabhupada gave a very nice story. He described in this story that once there was a Nawab in Lucknow, and he had a servant who was cleaning his crystal chandelier. So, climbing on a ladder, the servant was cleaning up the crystal chandelier while one crystal became loose and fell to the ground. And it made sound when it's cracked on the ground of pling. And when the Nawab, he was actually in another room, shaving his beard. And as he heard that sound, he came back running. And he said, "What was that? What was that?" Now the servant, realizing that the master, would get upset with him, said, "Oh master, I'm so sorry. The crystal became loose and it fell." And then the Nawab said, "Oh, that was very nice sound. Drop another crystal." The servant was bewildered. He said, "What?" Master said, "Drop another crystal from the chandelier, just the way it fell, the previous one." So he dropped another crystal and it fell to the ground and make a sound. And the Nawab said, "Oh, very nice, very nice. Drop another one." So the servant took out another crystal and, dropped it. It fell to the floor, making a very, the sound as crystal breaks. And Nawab said, "Oh, very nice, very nice." So that way, the Nawab kept asking the servant to keep dropping one crystal after another from the crystal chandelier until the whole chandelier was empty. So the lesson here is Bhoktaram Yagi Tapsam Sarvalok Maheshwaram. So Lord Krishna is the benefactor of all the sacrifices, and he is the true proprietor of all the material and spiritual universes. So if he wants to do something, he will do it. Who are we to question? Because it all belongs to him. So that's why when it is given, and the Acharyas explain, Sridhar Swami in his commentaries explain, that when Lord Krishna was previously, being given the name Makhanchur, because he is a butter thief, right? And the gopis would come to Mother Yashoda and said, "Oh, your son, he steals butter." But at the same time, Lord Krishna would say, "No, I did not steal the butter." But the gopis would go to Mother Yashoda and they're not really complaining. And could Lord Krishna be stealing the butter which already belongs to him? So here, Mother Yashoda hearing that in the previous chapter means again, and as Acharyas explained, this happened on Deepavali day, right? When Mother Yashoda, I'm covering briefly the previous chapter and some of the contradictions that we find. So here Lord Krishna, is sleeping. And sometimes people say, "Oh, that's a contradiction." It is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead never sleeps. He always is engaged in Kali Leela. So again, all 8 times of the day, the 8 pairs it's called, he is constantly engaged in, associating with his devotees. He is constantly enjoying the pastimes with his devotees. Especially in Vrajbhumi, he never steps out of Vrajbhumi. He is constantly engaging with the cowherd boys, he was constantly engaging with, his parents and who are in Vatsalya Ras. And Madhurya is everywhere in Vrindavan, in Gokul, at this particular time when Krishna is in the form of baby. So, how could Lord Krishna sleep? That was one question. Well, Yashoda Mai, she thinks, as Shukdev Goswami identified in the previous chapter, that this Krishna is her son. She really feels that this is her son and is like an ordinary child. Even though Krishna has shown twice the universal form to her, she immediately rejects that, because the waves of her motherly love, Mamta, those waves, they wash off any impression that she gets of Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Krishna also is in anxiety that Mother Yashoda should not stop, taking care of him. He wants to be completely dependent on her. And as her son, he is relishing those pastimes. And as on the Deepavali day, right? We also call it Diwali in short. Lord Krishna is sleeping and Mother Yashoda, she starts churning the butter. And at that time, Lord Krishna, who is also known as Atmaram, he is completely self-satisfied, comes to Mother Yashoda when she is churning. All the maid servants are busy and she is churning the pot of yogurt, the dahi. And at that time, Lord Krishna comes. And why does he come? Because Mother Yashoda, Hare Krishna. So as Mother Yashoda, she is constantly singing about Lord Krishna. She is remembering the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna, and so as she is singing, the milk starts to come from her breast, and she is, feeling that love towards Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna realizing that he is missing out, right? Nobody wants to miss out. So Lord Krishna immediately wakes up and goes to Mother Yashoda Mai, and he is rubbing his eyes, showing her very clearly that he is hungry. So even this contradiction is because he is relishing. It is not the mother's milk he is drinking, he is getting the taste of mother's love. It is the love. And similarly, the gopis who are complaining that Krishna is stealing butter at our home, he is not stealing their butter. He is stealing their love in their hearts. He is relishing the love. And so Lord Krishna, somebody can also reflect, the current times. This is such a wonderful pastime. And with coronavirus everywhere, somebody could be saying, how could this be happening? What should devotees do? So we are in constant battle. Srila Prabhupada explained that we are constantly at battle against Maya. And this is a very nice example of how you can understand is, one of my friends, he basically had bird feeder container that he had hanging outside his house. Yet at the same time, the squirrels would come and they would eat away all the grains from that bird feeder. And so he went to the store asking the store manager, how can you find a bird feeder that is squirrel safe? And the store manager, showed him these are the various options, and one of the bird feeder was advertised as squirrel safe bird feeder. So he took that and he hanged it, and it took him 3 hours to hang this bird feeder because it was placed on a very thin wire across 2 pillars. So all that equipment was there and everything was there, and he took 3 hours to nicely hang it and make it available. Next morning he comes and what does he see? That the squirrels are on the bird feeder feeding away the grains. And then he was really upset. He packed the whole thing and he went to the store and he was very upset, and he said to the store manager, this is not squirrel free. Store manager said, my dear sir, how much time did you take to install it? He said 3 hours I had to spend. Basically he was ranting about it from the very beginning. And then the store manager said, yes, you worked for 3 hours. How many hours do you think the squirrels were working to get to the bird feeder? Then he realized that the squirrels were working 24 hours a day. They were constantly trying to find ways how to get to that bird feeder. The lesson is, when we devotees are chanting our rounds, we are engaging in devotional service, we are doing whatever time. But Maya is working 24 hours a day. And this is where we get the instructions from the Acharya. Srila Prabhupada himself said that Maya is very strong, right? Once a devotee said to Srila Prabhupada after his Srimad Bhagavatam class, that Srila Prabhupada, sometimes we are in Maya. Srila Prabhupada immediately rebuked him, saying that you are always in Maya when you are in the temple and when you are engaged in devotional service, then you are in Krishna consciousness. So our effort should be to stay constantly in Krishna consciousness, always thinking about Krishna, reading about Krishna, talking about Krishna, tasting Krishna prasadam, remembering Krishna's loving pastimes like the Damodar Leela, and always chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. And there are many hurdles that come. Yet at the same time, we have to stay determined, we have to stay stable. And always when we are bewildered, there are so many devotees who are getting affected at current times. And they are all in our prayers. We are always praying that everyone, not just the devotees, we are praying for the whole world. The ISKCON community is praying for the whole world, whole universe, and they are, requesting everyone to chant Hare Krishna, engage in devotional service, and we are constantly seeking the welfare of the world. So we are constantly looking at it. And sometimes, again, this is in the purpose Srila Prabhupada talks about, the material world is a place where materialists are constantly increasing the temperature. And he gave a very nice story regarding this, increasing fever. So once it so happened that a lady, a housewife, and her maidservant both were sick. Both reported that they have fever. And so a doctor came, he looked at the housewife, he saw, okay, she's got 99 degrees Fahrenheit, so she doesn't really need any medication. She's almost okay, 98.6, just a little above that. And he didn't prescribe her any medication, any specific, diet or any precautions or, rest and so forth. Then he went and looked at the maidservant who had high temperature. He said, oh, she has 104 degrees, so she should take these medications and she should, take proper rest. And when the housewife heard that her maidservant is getting all these instructions, she became upset. She said, oh, I should be getting special treatment. She's thinking that this is special treatment. And she's saying that, how could this be? I should have 106 degrees, 110 degrees rather. That's what she says. And Srila Prabhupada explained that after 107 degrees, a human being dies. And this is what is going on in the material world. Everyone is trying to increase the temperature. Everyone is increasing the anxiety. Sometimes we parents also feel that the kids, when they are homebound, unable to do their studies, their anxiety rises. They are facing SAT, so many exams, they are looking at their college, entrance exams and so forth. And they are in anxiety, being homebound. How are they going to study? What will be their future? And thinking of the future, they become unstable and they, in anxiety, they are constantly disturbed. And such is a time where we should tell them about this. Instead of increasing the fever, we should take shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of God, Lord Shri Krishna. And sometimes when Srila Prabhupada would talk about that, everyone should try to at least get to the mode of goodness. And in this chapter, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, yes, what is a culture? Culture is where people try to reduce, the mode of passion and ignorance by taking to the mode of goodness. And that should be the effort. So once in Sweden, Srila Prabhupada, he was lecturing on the 4 classes of men's, in the Varnashram Dharma. And he was talking about, the Brahman as the first class man, Kshatriya the second class man, Vaishya the third class man, and Shudra the fourth class man. And it was at a university crowd, and this crowd was filled with rowdy students. So as soon as he was finished with his lecture, a student in the front stood up and said, "Of course, you think you are a first class man. That's why your followers offer you flowers and you sit on a high seat." There was dead silence in the room. Srila Prabhupada practically pleaded with this student, saying, No, I am not a first class man. I am a fifth class man. Everybody was shocked. The devotees were there, they were ready to pounce on this student, but they were shocked when they heard Srila Prabhupada saying that he is a fifth class man. And then he said, why? He revealed that because I am a servant of everyone. So by his very example, he is showing his humility. And at that time, devotees saw that there were two big tears that appeared behind his glasses. So Srila Prabhupada teaches us humility. He teaches us how to respond to even rowdy scenarios, uncontrolled scenarios, understanding that we are Lord Krishna's servant and Jivera Surupaya Krishna Nityadas. So we are the eternal servant of Lord Krishna and we constantly take shelter at his lotus feet. And even such times, the times where people are homebound, we try to see how we can all improve our situations. Yes, we understand that we are not able to go outside and associate with other devotees. However, this is an opportunity for us to go inside. When we can't go outside, let's go deep inside ourselves. Let's take it as an opportunity in disguise. In the 11th canto, there is a story about Avanti Brahman, who was a very miser Brahman. And he was so miser that he did not even give the necessary facilities to even his family members. And finally, all the wealth that he was collecting, he was actually engaged in mercantile affairs, the trade. And so, when he was in this, doing the trade and collecting so much material, getting material wealth and so forth, and he was not giving anyone anything, over a period of time, it just happened that the wealth that he had collected was stolen by some wild thieves, some by his own family members, some by the government officials. So by fortune, by providence, all the wealth he had was lost. And at that time, Avanti Brahman, while wandering, remembering the previous, when in Brahmacharya he had gained whatever spiritual knowledge, by that he was enlightened. And suddenly he became renounced. And he was singing the glories of the Lord, taking shelter at the Lord, because he understood that in this material world nothing is permanent. Everything is going to be, a source of misery if we become attached to it. Kamesha, Krodhesha, Rajoguna Samudbhava. So again, when Kama, when we become attached to sense objects and we don't get the results, we become angry. So this is the nature of, in this material world, that people, when they are attached to things, they become upset. And when they become upset, they become angry. That's anger is in the mode of ignorance. They fall down from their position. So in this purport, it's very nicely described that Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard in the previous chapter that Lord Krishna, when he was tied by mother's love, so when he is tied by the rope, that rope represents Yashoda Mai's love for Lord Krishna. And he agreed to be bound by her love. Lord Krishna is relishing this pastime. And it is very difficult for materialists to understand the sweetness, the mellow it contains, the, how this pastime is being enjoyed for every moment by Lord Shri Krishna, and how he is, as Bhaktavatsal, reciprocating accordingly. And here, Parikshit Maharaj asks Shukdev Goswami that when Lord Krishna saw these Yamala arjuna trees, and he was thinking about his devotee, Devashi Narad, who had cursed the sons of Kuvera. And what are their names? Nal Kuvera and Manigriva. So these two sons of Kuvera, why were they cursed? He was curious to know. And at that time, Shukdev Goswami reveals the reason these two personalities, they were cursed. They had entered into a friendly relationship with Lord Shiva. Later we will also hear about Samantaka as well, where Satrajit, who was a worshipper of sun god, enters into friendly relationship with sun god. So these two sons of Kuvera, Nal Kuvera and Manigriva, they were worshippers of Lord Shiva. They were devotees of Lord Shiva. And they were devotees with materialistic perspective. So they were, first of all, born, as sons of Kuvera, very aristocratic. He's the treasurer of the demigods. And in 6th canto, Lord Krishna reveals, Prapya punya kratam lokan ushitva shashvati sumaha shuchinam shimatam gehe yoga bhashto abhijayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of aristocracy. And this was in response to Arjun's question, that what happens if someone is engaged in devotional service and has not attained that spiritual platform, that transcendental platform? Then what happens to such a person who dies before attaining such platform? And Lord Krishna says that if one is not fully advanced, not very advanced, but has started his journey, then he goes to the planets of pious people and then is born in the family of aristocrats, rich people. So these two sons of Kuvera, of course, they are sons of Kuvera. So they had performed some devotional service in their past. That's why they were able to get the birth as sons of Kuvera. And then on top of that, they are devotees of Lord Shiva. So they were not satisfied with what they had. They wanted more of it. And when they wanted more of it, more and more they were getting, they were becoming proud. And pride cometh before fall. So they were, enjoying with women of celestial planets, heavenly planets, in the Mandakini, the waters, river Ganges, near Kailash Hill. So they were in the gardens near Kailash Hill, and they were enjoying with various ladies, and they were naked. And their eyes were constantly rolling because of Varuni, or the liquor that they were taking. And this is where Shukdev Goswami is describing to Parikshit Maharaj as how someone, Maya Apradgyana, we heard in this particular verse, purport. The intelligence is taken away by Maya. Maya, Aprahat. Aprahat is the one who kidnaps. So Maya has kidnapped their intelligence, and they are, their eyes are rolling in intoxication, wine, women and gambling, and so many other bad sinful activities go on. So when becomes proud, they become, they do not discriminate between right and wrong. They just want to satisfy their senses. And so they were cursed at that time. So why? Because Devashi Narad, he was passing through that area. So it is not by chance. Acharyas described that Devashi Narad, looking at these two brothers, the sons of Kuvera, he wanted to give them spiritual enlightenment. But when he came, what did he see? There's these two sons of Kuvera, they are, enjoying so much, and they are walking naked, not even paying attention that he is there in his presence. While the ladies, they immediately covered their bodies. But these two sons had not covered their bodies. And so, he thought about it. And he is referencing, he is thinking about it as to how to elevate these two personalities. And at that time, in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada said, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kaya, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Haya. So just by a momentary association with a sadhu, a realized soul, one can derive all kind of benefits, Sarva Siddhi. And then he also describes Brahmar Bhavite Kaun Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadapaya Bhakti Lata Bija. How does one get the seed of devotion, or the fan, the spark in the heart of devotion is fanned? When one who's wandering, a living entity is wandering in the upper and lower planets because of the different activities they're engaged in. And Srila Prabhupada also called it Ferris wheel. Right? Like the Ferris wheel that goes up and down. Similarly, the living entity, by doing different kind of pious and impious activities, is suffering, yet at the same time going upper planets, lower planets. But this material world is a place of misery. So the human being and living entities, actually not just human being, all kind of living entities, they're constantly suffering in this material world, not knowing and thinking that the moment of relief is happiness. They're misidentifying happiness. They're identifying happiness with the senses, which is, cause of their fall down further in this material world. Such a living entity, by his good fortune, comes in association of great personalities. And Guru Krishna Prasadapaya, Krishna as a Chaitya Guru and spiritual master outside, representing Krishna. So he's a representative of Krishna and should be worshipped like Krishna. So such personalities, they bless us so that we can engage in devotional service, which simply starts with the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Looking at the sorry state of these two brothers, Devashi Narad, he decides to curse them. Srila Prabhupada gave an analogy that when a father finds his son or his child deeply asleep, but the child has to take some medicine to cure some disease, the father pinches the child so that the child will get up and take the medicine. In the similar way, Narad Muni wanted to appropriately curse these two sons of Kubera, so that this disease of their material condition can be cured. And at that time, Devashi Narad, he contemplated on two different aspects and finally decided to curse. He was looking, from the identifying like how materialists can be so cruel, and they sometimes are atheists. They don't take to the surrender process. They don't even accept that there is God. And so it is very important for one to at least look from the bodily perspective. While alive, one should think, does this body belong to its employer, the one who provides to sustain the body? Or does it belong to the father who has, been the cause of the birth? Or does it belong to the mother who has, nourished the embryo in a womb? Or does it belong to the mother's father who accepts, in Vedic custom, the mother's father accepts his grandson to be his son, or the daughter to be his daughter? Or does it belong to the person who takes away by force? It could be the rogues, or it could be the murderers, or it could be, even, different ways things can be taken away, the body can be taken away. Or does it belong to the master who purchases this body as a slave? Or does it belong to the sons who burn it at the time of fire? Or if the body is not burned, does it belong to the dogs and hawks who eat it? Or to the worms, who eat away the body, if it is buried? So, of these various claimants, who is the rightful claimant? Who is really the rightful owner of this body? And of course, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna reveals, Aham Bij Pradha Pita, right? He is the Supreme Father. So the immature behavior of neophytes, is another extreme. So we talk about materialists, and then in Krishna consciousness, many times when people come to Krishna consciousness, they're immature, yet at the same time very enthusiastic. So sometimes we properly do not behave towards our parents and towards our elders, thinking that they are demigod worshippers. We have heard so much bad about demigod worshippers that unknowingly we start criticizing them. We start identifying that they should take to Krishna, devotional service, to Krishna consciousness. And is it not that easy? Does Krishna want it that way? So again, we are looking at the two extremes, where the materialists do not accept the existence of Krishna, and sometimes we devotees get into the mindset of we are right, and sometimes in our immaturity, we are, affecting our parents and so forth. And so many people, after the parents have passed, and then they realize, oh, what a blunder I have done by being so immature, just because of the enthusiasm that I have discovered this knowledge. Kauna bhagyavana jiva, Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata vija. Yet at the same time, we should not give up our common sense. We should not give up our quality of being compassionate towards each other and toward the other living entities, because jana aprad is still an aprad, that is an offense towards the living entities. And especially the parents are worshipable, so we should be very careful in our dealings with the parents. Yet at the same time, ask for forgiveness for any such events. There was one person who was identifying this. I was fortunate enough because my parents were already God conscious, and we would engage in India means again in big havans and lot of scripture readings and reading Ramayana during the Navratri times and Ramnami times, and this is Ramnami is 2nd of April that's coming up. So we need to treat others as we want to be treated. And yet at the same time, as we are hearing, as Devashi Narad, he is contemplating about the condition of these two brothers, he decides to curse them. Because if you are naked, what do you become in your next life? You become trees. This is from Manu Samhita as well as from Vedic scriptures. If you eat meat, the concept is mamsa. Mam is me and sa is he. So those, who eat meat, then they lead to, means they are basically saying that they are eaten by the animals they eat in their next life. So again, the next life, the very animals that they have eaten, eat them, these living entities, the bodies they get. So that is the case. Mamsa is the, and there is a very nice story when people do not take to proper guidance and they are in material, influenced by the lower modes of material nature. Punah mushiko bhava. So in this particular story, Srila Prabhupada tells about a sage who was meditating and suddenly a mouse came. And the sage asked the mouse, what's the case? Why are you so scared? The mouse said, actually, a cat is after me. So at that time, sage, gave him an award that you become a dog. Now, as a dog, that dog immediately chased after the cat and then suddenly came back to the sage, and again he was shaking with fear. The sage said, why are you shaking with fear? What happened now? He said, oh, actually a fox is after me. So at that time, the sage awarded him and said, okay, you become a tiger. And so as soon as the dog became a tiger, the tiger was looking at the sage very interestingly, and the sage said, oh, why are you looking at me like that? The tiger said, I'm hungry and I want to eat you. So at that time, sage said, Punah mushiko bhava. So again, you become a mouse. So this is the case of materialists when they are kind of like, even when they come into the association of devotees, they are trying to seek material benediction, but that's not helping them. So Devashi Narad, Srila Prabhupada explained, the Prabhupada Acharyas explained, thinks about that if they are cursed to the position of trees, then they may still not learn the lesson. They will not still get the medicine because trees are not conscious of what they did, what's happening around them. A tree's consciousness is very limited because if you cut a branch of a tree, it feels the pain at that very moment, but soon after some time, it forgets about it and is not reminded. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada explains that Devashi Narad considered this whole situation. He said, okay, and in the chapter, Shukdev Goswami is also explaining that Devashi Narad thought about it and said, okay, but by my grace, by my benediction, even though I am giving a curse, they will not forget this current life as the sons of Kuvera and how they are engaged in so many sinful activities. So as they are cursed, they become the Yamala arjuna trees. And then the second aspect that he says is that these two brothers, Nalkuvera and Manigriva, would be as trees for 100 celestial years. And 1 day of celestial, the heavenly planets, is 6 months of earthly time. So these two Yamala arjuna trees in the courtyard of Nand Maharaj, they have been there for 100 celestial years, where 1 day of that celestial year is 6 months of earthly years, for a long time. And Yamala arjuna trees are gigantic trees, and they have very deep and well spread roots and well caught. So when hurricanes come, the general trees and everything is destroyed, but Yamala arjuna trees, they stay strong. So as Lord Krishna is looking at these two trees, he is thinking of his devotee, Devashi Narad. And remembering him and to please his devotee Narad, he starts, walking, he starts crawling towards these two trees. And so he's pulling Urukula, the grinding mortar. And he passes from the center of these two trees as they are standing. He passes from the center, and the Urukula, the grinding mortar, gets stuck behind these two trees. And at that time, Lord Krishna, he pulls the Urukula, and all these gigantic trees, they shake. And with a great thundering sound, they fall. Just few inches away from Lord Krishna. The sound was so tumultuous that whole of Vrajbhumi was shaken. Everybody came out of the house as if what happened to just find out. And everyone rushed to the place where this happened. Now, as Shukdev Goswami is describing, after these two trees are uprooted, they are not cut, they are uprooted because of the Urukula that is pulled by Lord Krishna. Two effulgent personalities, they come out. And who are these personalities? Nalkuvera and Manigriva. And they are praying to the Lord, because by the grace of Devashi Narad, they understood that even this curse was a benediction. They remembered their sinful activities. And when they saw Lord Krishna in the courtyard of Nand Maharaj, they had already fallen in love with Lord Krishna. And they sang the glories of Devashi Narad, with whose mercy, because of his mercy, they were able to see Lord Krishna face to face. And thus, having become devotees of Lord Krishna, they sang prayers to him, that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they circumambulated Lord Krishna. And by taking permission to go back, to their heavenly planet, to the celestial beings, they took permission from Lord Krishna, who is in what form? Baby form. So it doesn't matter which form Lord Krishna appears, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Satchidananda Vigraha. He is all in all. So his potencies are never lost. Whether he is a baby, whether he is a boy, whether he is a youth, or whether he is an adolescent. And at that time, so this is where this chapter ends. That after, praying to the Lord, and Lord Krishna says that yes, you are awarded with the devotion to me, and that your life will become successful. So they get the blessings from Lord Krishna. And they are the great devotees of the Lord, constantly engaging themselves in devotional service and continuing to improve spiritually so that they can go back home, back to Godhead. And this is where the chapter ends. And now we will hear in the next chapter as what happened when everybody heard this thundering sound, as if, a great calamity has befallen on Vrajbhumi. And when they came, and how they still, because of the influence, because of the love of Nand Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, everyone was induced, was in that, Madhurya Bhav. They were, constantly loving Lord Krishna. And it simply starts with the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So do we have any questions or comments? Hare Krishna. So we'll do Nrsimha prayers, seeking protection of all the devotees as well as everyone around the world. And this is a prayer Srila Prabhupada taught us, so that in the times of calamity when we are bewildered, we can take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev, who is Bhakta Vigna Vinasham. He removes the impediments in the path of his devotees. Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Prahlad Lad Daine, Prahlad Lad Daine, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Shilatanka Nakhalaye, Shilatanka Nakhalaye, Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha, Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha, Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsimha, Yato Yato Yami Tato Nrsimha, Vahe Nrsimha, Hridaye Nrsimha, Vahe Nrsimha, Hridaye Nrsimha, Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadye, Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapadye, Tav Kar Kamal Vare Natham Adbhuta Shringham, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Tanu Bhringam Keshavaditya Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagdish Hare, Jai Jagdish Hare, Jai Jagdish Hare, Tab Kar Kamal Vare Natham Adbhuta Shringham, Dalita Hiranyakashipu, Tanu Bhringam Keshavaditya Narahari Rupa, Jai Jagdish Hare, Jai Jagdish Hare, Jai Jagdish Hare, Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। भक्त विघ्न विनाशिनी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।